Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and just stick around. Also, if you need any help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, small group coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, we're going to discuss something that tends to come up quite often with people manifesting a specific person. And that is, why am I getting so much hot and cold from my person? Why are they a great version of themselves one day? They're all warm, they're all expressive, they're all loving and adoring and giving me so much attention one day or for 1 week or for a month. And then they fall back into another version the next day, the next week, the next month, whatever it is. So why does this happen? And what can you do to actually keep getting the hot version of them and the hot treatment, let's say? Stay tuned, because that's what we're going to discuss. So assuming you're doing all the inner work, you're imagining your new reality with your specific person, you're imagining them as their new version that you want, you imagine what they're telling you, you imagine how they're treating you, you imagine all these things, you're affirming about these things, visualizing them, scripting them, whatever methods you're using. And you're still getting a lot of hot and cold from that person. Why can this be happening? In my experience, it can happen for two reasons. The first reason, especially if you have just started manifesting that new version of your specific person, or if you've only been manifesting that version for maybe a few days or maybe a few weeks, not very long, it could just be that they're changing. So the hot version that you're seeing is actually signs that what you're doing, the inner work that you're doing, is actually working and it's starting to have an effect on them and they're starting to reflect back to you. But because the old version of them is still fresh in your head, you're still very aware of that old version, they keep showing you parts of the old version as well, so you get all that hot and cold. So if that is your case, don't worry. Keep doing your inner work, keep persisting in the new version of reality, in the new version of your story, and sooner or later, they are going to reflect back the new story completely. You're going to be seeing a transformation that is more and more and more and more complete. Try not to worry too much about the how or the when or the how long it's going to take until the transformation takes place. Just persist in your inner story, in your inner state. Keep feeling the state of seeing them and perceiving them as their new version, as the person who is loving, adoring, choosing you, chooses to commit to you, pays attention to you, puts you as a priority in their lives, plans their lives around you, etc., whatever it is that you're manifesting with them. And just stay as loyal as possible to that new version of themselves that you are creating inside. Remind yourself that this is your new reality, this is the true reality. It comes from your consciousness, and your consciousness has to be objectified in the external world. So keep persisting in your inner vision, in your inner version of reality and of your person, and just take all those hot movements, all the times when they reflect back to you all the good things as motivation, as signs that what you're doing is working, and just keep going, keep persisting. Now, the second reason, which actually tends to be more common, and especially if you've been manifesting your specific person for a while and you keep seeing hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, you keep seeing a lot of the unwanted version of them, you keep seeing a lot of the old story, simply remember that your specific person, like everyone else in your life, is the mirror of your own dominant inner states, your own dominant inner beliefs, assumptions, how you see yourself, how you see them, how you see their relationship. And so that's what they're reflecting back to you. So what that means, if you keep getting a lot of hot and cold, and it's been a while, it's been months, let's say, or even years, and you keep seeing the hot and cold, that essentially means that you're not persisting enough, or you're not going deep enough into that new story, into that new reality that you're creating, that you are paying too much attention on external circumstances. You're giving too much power on their old version, on the old story, on the current circumstances, on the 3D. You just give power to essentially all the things that you don't want. you're still giving power to things they might have said or done even a long time ago, and you keep dwelling on that. You're giving power to the things that you don't like, the things that you don't want, and you are not persisting enough in that new version of them that you want to experience. You keep getting caught up in the 3D. Now, that is normal. As I've said time and time again, it's our mind and the way it's designed. It's designed to look at the 3D and take the 3D as the only reality and everything else as something fake. Anything that's in imagination, we tend to think of it as out there and is not true, it's not real, which, as we know, as conscious manifestors, that's not the truth, but that's how our mind is designed. So to an extent, it's normal. But that's when conscious manifesting comes in. That's where you come in as the conscious manifestor, where you tell your mind, no, I know what I'm doing. I know what my new story is now. I know what the new reality is that I'm creating, and that's what I'm persisting in. So no matter what you're seeing in the 3D, no matter what the old story might be, no matter what they might have said a long time ago, don't dwell on that. Try your best to actually keep dwelling on your inner states, on your inner vision, and on the vision of who you want them to be. And let me remind you something here. The mere fact that you're able to imagine that new version of them, that higher version, that better version of them, means that your higher self knows that that version already exists. If it did not exist as a possibility, you would not be able to imagine it. So draw strength from that, draw courage from that, draw inspiration and motivation from that, and remind yourself that it's not a version that you're creating from scratch. It's a version of them that already exists. Your higher self already knows that that version exists. So all you're doing is basically calling it into the 3D. So keep channeling that version of them that you already know exists. Keep true, keep loyal to your inner vision of your specific person and of your relationship and of yourself in relation to them, and of them in relation to you, and keep at that. As Neville would say, fall in love with that new state, fall in love with that new version of them, and only dwell on that, only keep your attention on that to the extent possible. There is going to be some wavering here and there is going to be some noticing of the 3D here and there. This is fine, as long as you don't make that dominant. As long as your dominant state, your dominant thoughts, your dominant assumptions are aligned with the new story that you're creating. So fall in love with that new version, fall in love with that new story, fall in love with that new state, and follow that which you love. Remind yourself that external circumstances are nothing but reflections of old assumptions, old stories, old states, and just move on from those and shift your attention and your state and your energy back into what you actually love. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.